The Washington County Antique Fair is held at the Washington County Fairgrounds in upstate New York twice a year, once the first weekend in May and again over Columbus Day weekend in October. We're arriving on a Saturday before the gates open at 8 a.m. Hours vary slightly between Saturday and Sunday. I'll link their official website in the description below for up-to-date information. Good morning, friends. We've just parked at the Washington County Fairgrounds for their antique fair, and we're going to go see what sort of treasures we can find. Let's go. While parking is free, there is a small cash-only per-person admission fee. They have conveniently placed ATMs at the entrance gate for those that forgot cash.
Hi, how many?
2.
$10. Alright, you'll take that as you go in. Enjoy.
Now, at first glance, you might assume a rural upstate New York show would be all primitives or farmhouse pieces, but that's not the case. This fair has a little bit of everything. There are usually around 200 vendors offering an eclectic mix of treasures, everything from true antiques to vintage oddities and the occasional just plain weird find. I've been visiting this show for about half a dozen years now, and I really do think it's a bit of a hidden gem. It's smaller than some of the big name shows like Madison, Boutfell, or Brimfield, but that's part of the charm. You can actually see every booth in a single day. No rushing, no exhaustion, just a relaxed day of treasure hunting. On average, we spend about 5 hours here, and that's enough time to explore every vendor, chat with the sellers, and appreciate the variety. As always, I came prepared with a loose hunt list, but I've learned that sometimes the best finds are the ones I don't see coming. Here's a perfect example of the variety you'll find. Colorful alpaca knits right next to rusty old tools that share a booth with vintage hats, and bright old ephemera. My wingman found me my first treasure of the day, a framed butterfly specimen. I've built up a small collection of these from estate sales and thrift shop finds, and for $5, I'm happy to add this one to the swarm. This sign. I mean accurate, but the missing apostrophe might haunt me more than the antiques. Our first Tiki bar related sighting of the day, these Tiki glasses. Sorry, I got momentarily distracted by some vintage Halloween die cuts. The way the light came through that orange glass was just beautiful. See, this just proves my point. Don't be deceived by the rural setting. We found Papua New Guinea artifacts that would add the perfect South Seas flair to someone's tiki bar. We admired them, then left them for another adventurer to find. So many shakers. This salt and pepper display was pure joy. Rows and rows of wacky, wonderful salt and pepper sets, each one begging for a spot on someone's retro kitchen shelf. This booth definitely catered to the season. Straight up Halloween, with vintage finds that would add the perfect ambiance to a spooky setting or a delightfully peculiar parlor. The Halloween spirit carried right into the next booth, packed with spooky treasures sure to delight and inspire. The indoor and outdoor accommodations at the fairgrounds make it perfect shopping in any sort of weather. Luckily today was blue skies. This booth was right up our alley with mid-century goodness. I think Polly, this papier-mâché parrot, wants to go home with us. I think Pele wants to go home with us too. I think the theme of the day may be salt and pepper shakers. More kitschy goodness. This vendor was definitely on trend with uranium glass growing in popularity. I have to remind myself I don't need another collection, although it would be stunning in a Halloween display. Bonus points for this show since it's held at the fairgrounds, there are actual bathrooms, not the porta potties that you find at the field shows. The colors on both these pieces were very eye-catching. If you're a crafter, maker, or artist, there are plenty of raw materials to be found for your projects. Or just things to be inspired by. While not explicitly Halloween, the graphics on this puzzle peg game, chef's kiss. We couldn't help but to stop and admire the tropical colors motif of these panels. I'm guessing that they are acrylic wall divider panels. They still have the original price tags of $6.77. The graphics of this Monster Mash patch drew my attention immediately. It's always fun to rummage through collections to see what you can find. If you missed this year's show and want to check out next year, here are the dates. A box of old photos labeled Instant Relatives? How can you not love that? Creative marketing and a wonderful way to preserve the tangible history of real people. Hang them on your gallery wall, and suddenly you've got a whole new branch of the family tree, complete with the mysterious adventurers and eccentric aunts. That one? Oh, yes. Great Aunt Gertie? Legends say she disappeared somewhere deep in the Amazon. McNugget Buddies! Instant Halloween nostalgia unlocked. I had to spend some time in this booth. All that orange just made me so happy. There were so many wonderful Halloween treasures to look at. In chatting with the dealer, I learned she collects cupcake pics, but wanted a new way to display them, so she started adding them to vintage ornaments. And honestly, I love that creativity. It's such a fun way to give those tiny details new life. I have so many questions. I'm always thrilled to find a booth full of vintage Disney collectibles. This wood-burning set drew us in with the Tahitian village and Adventureland graphics. This glaze was gorgeous. The camera is doing an okay job, but the iridescent oil slick colors were more vibrant in person. Furniture isn't on my list, but I couldn't walk past this table without appreciating those amazing claw feet. The craftsmanship on older pieces like this always gets me. This booth had quite the mix: sparkly things, shiny brights, and dusty old scales. A little bit of glitter, a little bit of grit, just the way I like it. I'm not on the hunt for Christmas decorations, but these deer were darling. Do you ever wish you had a decorating project just so you have an excuse to buy fabulous old lithographs? Pretty sure this counts as a Bigfoot sighting. Everything in this booth is just $1. A true dig and discover situation. It's messy, unpredictable, and that's exactly what makes it fun. Who knows what kind of treasure might be hiding in this pile? Apparently, lots of instant relatives are available today. This was a collection of old Brooks Brothers catalogs. If those had been old Banana Republic catalogs, those would have been coming home with me. There were a lot of old fun stereoscope images. This one really takes the instant relatives idea up a notch. It's not just a photo or two, it's a time capsule, someone's personal album from Hawaii during World War II, a real piece of history captured in everyday moments. I'd change out the frame, but tell me it wouldn't look perfect hanging behind the rum-soaked counter of a pirate-themed bar. And now on to the Castle Core portion of our program. Is this reading unicorn horn, or is that just me? Isn't she lovely? This may be my dream typewriter. And just like that, it's 1 o'clock. We've wandered every booth, so it's time to take our treasures and head home. But if you're not quite ready to call it a day, there's still time to soak up a little more of what the region has to offer. On this particular weekend, there were local events commemorating the 250th anniversary of the Battles of Saratoga. If cider donuts and corn mazes are more your speed, swing by Saratoga Apple or get delightfully lost at Schuyler Farms. For now, we're packing up and heading home, but stick around for a peek at everything we brought with us. So what treasures did we find? What did we bring home? Not too much, but let's take a look at what we brought home. First find of the day was this golden birdwing butterfly specimen. It was only $5. I've only collected these from estate sale finds or thrift shops, garage sales, but I know they can be quite pricey when you buy them firsthand. Also, there are some concerns about the ethical sourcing of specimens, which is why I always buy them secondhand. If I can find any information about the value of this particular specimen, I will put it on the screen. My next find I found off camera, but it is this brooch. There is a cameo in the middle, as well as some marcasite. Some of the marcasite stones may be missing, but I just found it very lovely, so I picked it up. This was also $5. I don't see any markings on the back, but there she is. This was very random, but for $1, I picked up this Halloween patch. The Rockin' Roundup 1986 Monster Mash. I think it says Tulip Trace, so maybe this was a neighborhood block party or something. I'm not even quite sure where it would have been located, but if I can find any information, of course I'll place that on the screen. I just love the graphics, and of course it's Halloween, so for $1, came home. My next finds were all Halloween creepy paper. No, I know it's crepe paper, but I also love what we do in the shadows, so it's creepy paper to me. This is a portion of a vintage tablecloth. The vendor mentioned that it's probably from the 1960s. Any information that I can find out about this particular design, I'll share on the screen, but I just love the graphics. The black cats very much look mid-century, and I can't wait to get this framed and added to my collection. That last one was marked $15. However, I did buy it with 2 other items, so made a little bundle deal to get a discount. The vendor mentioned it was from the 1930s Denison brand. So it's a crepe paper banner runner or part of a tablecloth. I've got to research it a little bit. I'm not loving the frame that it came in, so I will probably reframe it to something that's a little bit more moody, Halloween-y. But the color and the graphics, I've been wanting some more vintage Halloween graphic art from goods that, you know, are approximately 100 years old. They're generally quite pricey. This one was marked at $25. I did get it with the last one, and another one that I will show you in a minute. And I got all 3 pieces for $60, which I felt was very fair considering the price that I've seen marked on similar items at Brimfield. Number 3, creepy paper. Again, just, it's part of the other banner, but the graphics kind of continue. So you have the black cat with its tail up. This one's kind of missing his tail up, but they're gonna get in it. And then there's a scarecrow. The face on the jack-o'-lantern is just too precious. I will likely reframe this. There is damage to this frame. I do like the black frame and the black mat, but I'm pretty sure that I will be looking for the perfect frames and get it rematted so that it just displays a little better. The frame's looking a little sad, but couldn't pass them up. So those are my Halloween finds. Sort of Halloween, but not really. There was one booth that had fabric remnants, fill a bag for $1. I very much was like, challenge accepted, and grabbed this lunch bag size of fabrics. I did get some Halloween fabric, but just some other pieces. Very fall, orange, more orange, green, fall, and then some black. I'll call this velour. Yeah, pretty sure this is a black velour. So a very reasonable collection of fabric remnants for a grand total of $1. Plenty of project fodder here. Tiki finds. The other side of my escapism continuum. I believe this is a pipe stand. I believe the woman represented here is Pele, and this is sort of that lava rock resin. Any information I can find out about this piece will be shared on the screen. This was marked 12. We offered 10 and got her for 10. This one's going to be fun to get in the frame. We're going to go with, this is Polly. It's not quite Rosita, right? Paper mache on a metal hanger. She is damaged, so I'm going to work on gluing and then doing some touch-up paint there. May paint this more of a bamboo color. I also have some small caning, so I'm thinking of trying to make this look more like bamboo and less the color of my shirt. And I think that would fit in very nicely in sort of the Jungle Cruise Disney area of the Tiki bar. But another good project find. She was $5 because of the damage. I have seen these at other flea markets for significantly more than that. So this was a great find, and happy to have her. Our very last find, I can't show here, but I will definitely show on the screen, were those phenomenal Hawaiian mid-century room divider panels. I think I've done some initial detective work on what they may be and haven't seen that panel style come up yet, so I need to do a little bit more research. Possibly new old stock. They had the price tag on them, their original price tag on them, and some original stickers, so possibly someone bought them for a project, never used them, and maybe kept them in a basement or attic for years. They go right into our project list. We have several doors in the Tiki room that are just plain hollow core mid-century style doors. Nothing too exciting, and thought we could frame them out and place those on the doors to give them some visual interest. It would have been great if there were 4 different designs in the series instead of just the one design repeated in each panel, but still amazing. I've never seen those before in that style. You gotta bring home the weird stuff. Editing ML popping in. I did an image lookup for the divider panels and could not find the panels themselves. However, on Matson Vintage Art, the menu cover for Tahiti is almost the same graphic. I'm gonna guess that the panels borrowed from the Matson art. In the side-by-side, I think that's pretty clear, but let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you, friends, for joining me on this fall antiquing adventure day. I hope you enjoyed coming along. Let me know, what was the favorite find of the day? What treasure would you have brought home that I left behind? And if you did enjoy it, please consider liking and subscribing. I'll see you soon with more thrifting, crafting, tiki, and Halloween videos. Take care.